Welcome to EducationQuest live stream, How to File the FAFSA. My name is Janine Phelan, and I'm here with Senior College Planning Specialist Jackie Butler, who will give us an insider's view to the FAFSA. We're going to give away a coffee mug and a water tumbler tonight, so simply indicate your preference in the chat and we'll do a random drawing after the presentation. I use these every day. They're great. You're going to love it. Also, be sure to post any questions you have in the chat as we go, and we'll get to them after the presentation. And with that, let's get started. So, Jackie, thanks for being here with us tonight. Can you briefly explain what the FAFSA is and why it's important to students and families?
I sure can, Janine. So the FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It's a student's application to be considered for federal, state, and college-based financial aid. Now, some financial aid is awarded on a first-come, first-served basis, so it is important to file early. And as we all know, the FAFSA is delayed this year, so we recommend trying to get that FAFSA filed by January or early February so you don't miss any financial aid and or scholarship deadlines.
Oh, great. Good advice. Hey, so Jackie, we know that 2024-25 FAFSA is new and improved. Have you seen it yet?
Yes, we have seen the prototype many times and have studied it very closely. Our team has also attended countless training sessions put on by Federal Student Aid. So we feel like we're really ready to help families complete the FAFSA when it becomes available.
I have no doubt. That's great. So, Jackie, what documents and information can families gather to get ready to complete the FAFSA?
So we will have a FAFSA checklist, but the most important elements I think that I want to highlight are the 2022 federal income tax return and corresponding schedules, the value of savings, checking, and investments as of the day you're completing the FAFSA form, the net worth of a business or farming operation, if you have those, and then any child support received in the year 2023 for all children in the household. We'll add that link or the FAFSA checklist in the chat section. It gives you the full list of items and the details about each thing needed to complete the FAFSA.
That is great. And I will mention part one of the preparing for the FAFSA was all about this. So if you want to go back and take a look at that video, please do, because Jackie explains a lot about how to prepare for the FAFSA in that first video. Okay, so Jackie, let's go back and talk a little bit about the net worth of the business and farm. You mentioned that. How do families calculate that?
So you could use tax records or a balance sheet to determine the value of, buildings, land, equipment, inventory. In the case of a farm, you would also include livestock and grains. So from that total, then you would deduct any debt directly tied to the business or farming operation, and the resulting value should be your net worth.
Okay, makes sense. All right, so Jackie, let's dig into the FAFSA. What can families expect?
Well, first they would start by going to studentaid.gov and log in using the parent or student's FSA ID. So either one can start the form. The student and parent are called contributors on the FAFSA. So they're contributing their information on the form. And each one of them, parent and student, completes their section, which will be linked through an invitation process. So the FAFSA is a role-based experience now. If the parent starts their section of the FAFSA first, they will complete their section. They will then invite the student to complete their section. If the student starts first, vice versa, they will invite the parent and complete their section. When the student and parent approve consent, they do have to approve consent on the FAFSA. Their federal tax information will be transferred securely from the IRS onto the FAFSA form itself. And Janine, you know, the FAFSA is fairly intuitive, so it will walk you through the process.
That's great. And I know it's different. If there are families out there who has done the FAFSA in the past, it is different. But I like hearing that it's intuitive and it will walk you through. That's good to know. Okay, so Jackie, you talked about the parent or student, either one could start. Is it better for the parent or the student to start the FAFSA?
I will say, Janine, that we think it is slightly better to have the parent start their section of the FAFSA first. That way, when they invite the student, then the student will complete their section, and then they will see their estimated results on the confirmation page after they sign and submit the FAFSA form. The other way is fine, it's not wrong, but if the student starts the FAFSA and then parent finishes and signs and submits, the student would then need to log back into the FAFSA a second time to view their results. So it's saving you a few keystrokes, we think.
Okay, good to know. Okay, so Jackie, you talked about how tax information will automatically be brought over from the IRS after you do all the things you're supposed to do. But what other questions can families expect on the FAFSA?
Because the contributors are using the FSA IDs to log in, some of their demographic information will actually be pre-populated onto the FAFSA form. Both the parent and student will report their assets as described in the FAFSA checklist. The student will also list the colleges that they want the FAFSA results to be sent to. So they can list as many as 20 now colleges on the FAFSA form. However, keep in mind that the student must be accepted for admission to those colleges in order to receive an offer of financial aid from them. So, you know, if the student has applied for admission and been accepted already, fantastic. If they're in the process, get that taken care of. If they have yet to apply for admission, they can go ahead and fill out the FAFSA, list those colleges, just make sure that they get that admission application completed so the college will offer them financial aid.
Okay. Well, that all sounds reasonable. The tax information, the assets, back and forth with parent and student. So how do families sign the FAFSA?
So the FSA IDs that we've talked about serve as your electronic signature. So by logging in with your FSA ID and granting consent for your data to be reported onto the FAFSA, you will sign and submit the form at the end of your section.
Okay. So what happens after the FAFSA is filed? What can families expect after that?
So the student is going to get something called a FAFSA submission summary that will be emailed to them. It confirms that the FAFSA was in fact filed. It provides the student aid index, and it indicates if verification is required. And I do want to say that if verification is required, the college will reach out to the student and let them know what documents they are requesting. You know, join us on Wednesday, January 10th at 7 o'clock. We're going to be explaining the next steps. In addition, we'll talk about college financial aid offers too.
Great. So, Jackie, what resources or tools can families use to help them navigate the FAFSA?
Well, we'll go ahead and add a link to our FAFSA tools page in the comments. It includes the FAFSA checklist, of course, and it will soon have videos to help you complete the 24-25 FAFSA. Also, of course, EducationQuest provides free help, as you know, to complete the FAFSA. And for those of you out there watching this video tonight, you can use the link that we're going to put in the chat section to be among the first to schedule an appointment for January with EducationQuest if you would like our assistance.
Well, you know, that's what we do really well. We help people with the whole financial aid process and completing the FAFSA if they need it. So that's great. Okay, Jackie, really, really good information. I think families have an idea of what to expect with the FAFSA, when they can start filing that right after the first of the year. So let's get to some questions from our viewers. So there's several that I want to ask. The first is, my husband lost his job in 2023, so our income is much lower than what it was on the 2022 tax return. How do I complete the FAFSA?
Okay, so you will complete the FAFSA like you should by using your 2022 tax information. That can't be altered. You do need to use 2022 tax information. Once the FAFSA is submitted, we recommend that you reach out to the college's financial aid office to explain your situation. If it warrants an adjustment of your FAFSA results, the college will work with you directly, to get any additional documents they may need for their records.
Okay, good to know. Here's another question. My parents are divorced. Which parent completes the FAFSA?
So, great question. And I do want to preface this reply by saying it does not matter who claims the student on their 2022 tax return. Okay. It does not matter who claims the student. If parents are separated or divorced, the parent who contributed the most financial support to the student in the past 12 months will be the parent to report their information on the FAFSA form. Also, if that parent is remarried, they will have to report the step parent's information as well. There's a lot of different situations out there. So if you have a question about your specific situation, it's always best to give us a call and we'll try to walk you through that.
All right, great. Okay, several more questions for you. So how do you create an FSAID and complete the FAFSA if you don't have a social security number?
Oh, that's an excellent question, actually. So at this point, for those who do not have a social security number right now, or don't have a social security number, you won't be able to create an FSAID until the FAFSA opens up, which will be December 31st. Once the FAFSA is available to fill out, they will go to studentaid.gov. They will click on create account, and then the site will walk them through that process. So I do want to stress this is only for those who do not have a social security number. If you already have a social security number, you really need to be creating that FSAID now so it has time to be verified with the Social Security Administration.
Okay. All right, a lot of questions are coming in. This one we addressed, but I think it's important to say again, when does the FAFSA open?
So as of right now, they're telling us on December 31st is when it is available. So plan on December 31st. You can certainly check on the website, but we are going with December 31st and scheduling appointments for January.
Okay. Question, how long does it take to complete the FAFSA?
You know, they're telling us about an hour. It's supposed to be a better FAFSA. It's supposed to be more user-friendly. So I'm hoping less than an hour, but I would allocate about an hour's time to complete the FAFSA.
Okay. Question that is, where can I get the total of child support received for the year and which year?
So again, if you are completing the FAFSA January 1 or after, it will be the 2023 child support received for all children in the household. On the FAFSA checklist, there is a number that you can call and a website, I believe, to get a hold of someone and get that information.
All right, very good. Several more questions. How does the FAFSA compare to the CSS? And will you tell us what CSS means?
Sure. So The CSS profile is something that more of your coastal colleges, more of your elite colleges require. It's more in-depth financial information from a family. So the FAFSA generally takes about an hour. The CSS profile, depending upon how prepared you are, usually can take an hour and a half, 2 hours to fill out. So it's a lot more financial information, a lot more in-depth information. So if your college does not require it, if they're not asking for it, don't panic. You don't need to fill it out. The colleges that do need that information will request it from you.
Okay. Along those same lines, will schools compare both the CSS and the FAFSA?
They will use both of them to determine eligibility and internal aid that the college has available for students.
Okay. Another question came in. Can the student see the information the parent provides on the FAFSA?
The student does not see the information that the parent provides. And likewise, the parent does not see the information the student provides on the FAFSA. So it is a more private, secure, role-based process.
Okay. So just with that, a follow-up, you had said at the end of the FAFSA, you see your results. Is there, if I remember the prototype, there's a way to see all the information you put on the form. Is that something you can address?
So at the end of your section, if you're the parent, at the end of your section before you sign, it will allow you to review all of the information that you have provided on the FAFSA. You will not be able to see your tax information because it is blacked out or grayed out. I haven't seen that part yet, but you will not be able, nor will we be able to view the information that is pulled over from the IRS. But any other information you will be able to review how you've answered those questions prior to signing your section of the FAFSA.
Okay. I think what you just said answers this next question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How do I edit the income information if it's not correct?
Okay, so that kind of goes along, also with, I believe it was, the husband lost the job, that question. So if your 2022 tax information does not reflect your current situation, perhaps you've had a loss of job or a loss of employment, same thing, a loss of a spouse, God forbid, or, something like that. You've had a lot of bills, et cetera. You still need to complete the FAFSA using the 2022 tax information. And again, reach out to the college, explain your situation to see if they can do what's called a professional judgment or an adjustment of the results of your FAFSA.
Okay. It looks like that's all the questions we have right now, but if you have more questions that come to you after watching this video, please reach out to any of the EducationQuest college planning offices for free help. And you can find our contact information at educationquest.org. So as we wrap up, I strongly encourage you to follow us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, to stay on top of the information about the FAFSA and all things college planning. And we have a weekly email called Countdown to College that I encourage you to sign up for. It's short. It gives you information you need in the moment that will help you with this whole FAFSA and college planning. So we encourage you to sign up for that. Okay, so we do have some winners for our tumbler or the water, whichever they prefer. And the winners are Shannon Fleming Green. So maybe I'm saying this wrong, Shauna Fleming Green and Morgan Schomer. I hope I said that wrong. Right. I hope I'm not massacring your names. So if the two of you would send us a DM on social media with your contact information, we will make sure we get that prize to you right away. So We really hope to see you right back here on Wednesday, January 10th at 7 p.m. for the third part of this series, and it's How to FAFSA Part 3, the follow-up. So thanks